Over 3.5 million rands paid. Lots of red flags ignored. And now Gxasheka is speaking. Her testimony at the Madlanga Commission raises serious questions about procurement, oversight, and who really signed off on these payments. Stay with me until the end, because what comes out in this session may change how you see this entire scandal. And if you care about accountability in South Africa, make sure you subscribe right now.
As I said, I'm not involved in the procurement processes. I've explained it, all those three committees. I don't sit. The line department, who's got a tender that is ongoing, doesn't sit there. Finance might need to explain. It's going to be very important, Chair, that I explain. I've never seen this lady in my life. The only time I saw her, it was on TV when this whole thing started. If she goes in a mall, I go in a mall, we'll probably pass each other. I don't know her. I've never seen her. If what happened here, the perception is she was done favors, it will have to be taken with finance. I'm not involved in these processes. Thank you, Chair.
You see, on the strength of a bid that should have been disqualified on any one of a number of obvious grounds, the city has paid 3.5 million. And it's paid it to a person who just happens to be the partner of Kat Matlala, who is driving around with blue lights that were obtained through the city. Does that not strike you as somewhat worrying on both fronts?
Chair, when I was speaking to my legal team yesterday, and we're going through the payments, this is one of the companies. At some point I said, they mustn't be utilized. Initially, when I took over, after I think Makosi left, and I started being involved here before we could fill the position on training issues, I picked up that there was no rotation. Therefore, we couldn't guarantee equitable share of service providers. I called my team in that division and I said, this must be done correctly. I further called the head of EPMO to come and assist in terms of coming with the system to ensure that bidders are given equal opportunity. And there were about 2 or 3 bidders. I was not necessarily happy with their work. And if I recall, this was one of them. I said, when I saw that there was a payment that happened I think in November last year, I was a bit concerned because in my take, I said, let's stop utilizing this bidder. But because I would have been involved probably to sign the order, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't find those documents here. I can't explain why did we continue with this bidder, but there were 2 of them I was not happy with their work. And the certain demands that I understood that they might have wanted to do work specifically for EMPD. And I put a red flag on that. And I will still take full accountability that continued to be utilized, despite the fact that I said I'm not happy with them. There were 2 or 3 of them I said I'm not happy. And I really want to emphasize, never seen this late in my life. But I did pick up that the work that they were doing, I was not 100% happy with, and some of the demands that were starting to be made. Thank you, Chair.
So can I ask a couple of issues flowing from your response? You seem to have had a range of concerns. The one is that the work was not satisfactory. Is that this company was not providing training of a sort that you've regarded as satisfactory?
In terms of the tender that we agree, what must happen on the tender, if I can recall some of the areas, you train, after training you give certificates. And it's sometimes how the certificates are done and how long they take to be done, it gives problems. So as I say, as much as I can't recall all the events, there were 3 of them I was not happy with how they do the work and how long it takes to get the certificates. I think it was in one of those reasons that I said, let's not use this particular company.
And this was one of those companies?
Yes, Chair. Hence I'm saying I got shocked when I saw that there was, again, I'm not sure that the payments that happened towards the end of the year, because we don't always pay immediately after the work has been done. If it was after I've stopped or it happened before I said they must stop being utilized, that I couldn't answer to, Chair. Thank you.
And when would you have raised your concerns and asked for this company and two others not to be paid any further?
I think it would have been, let me check, I don't have specific dates. I don't have specific dates. But it was during the time I started looking at the allocation of work and the equitable share, and then also the performance, because one of the systems I've put in place was we must report to finance of the work that is done quarterly. So I can't recall which quarter and when did I do that red flag, but I did pick up as one of the red flags and the companies I wasn't happy with. Thank you, Chair.
I mean, can you give us any specificity? Are we talking about 2024, 2025? When would this have been?
If I can just get the page of the invoices. I think it would have been towards end of 2024 or early 2025, Chair. I think, yeah, towards end. It would have been maybe, let's say, around that April 2025, maybe.
There's another issue with this payment schedule that, well, before we get to the payment schedule, can I ask you, you said that there was an allocation issue that concerned you. Do I understand you correctly, meaning that there was, as it were, a panel of service providers who'd been appointed? There were more than one successful bidders on that bid, and this service provider was getting more than their fair share. Is that what the concern was?
It might not be this one in particular would have got more share. There would have been more others that would have got more than she would have. So when I was talking about equitable share, I wasn't specifically focusing on this particular one. I was just talking in general for the whole panel that has been appointed.
So that was one of the issues you were addressing. You were addressing two issues. You were addressing allocation and you were addressing quality of work. Yes. And you recall that this provider was flagged for one or both of those issues.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Who did you raise these issues with? And where would there be a documentary record of it?
The documents, it will be the allocation schedule. And I raised it with, as I say, head of EPMO. And the lady was assisting after Makosi left. But in terms of records, what records you can get in the city is the allocation schedule. Thank you, Chair.
But if you raised it with someone, there should be a documentary record of that. I mean, presumably it would be written down somewhere in an email or in a memorandum. Where would we go to find that?
The allocation schedule, you should find it in HR or you should find it in finance. As I say, if I recall, we also submit quarterly reports. So between, I wouldn't know the name specifically in finance, but in HR, from the training team, I think the acting HOD will able to assist where the team can collate the documents and make them available.
But that's the allocation schedule, but I understand that or maybe I'm misunderstanding your evidence. Did you issue any instruction to someone saying, don't allocate work to this service provider, either they've got too much already or they're not giving us certificates? Will we find an email or a memorandum to that effect?
I'm not 100% sure if there will be an email, Chair. When my team raised the issue, their concerns, and I follow up those concerns, I then made that decision there and there that don't allocate this person work. Sometimes when they do bring the allocation schedule, I do make comments, but I can't recall. Hence I'm saying I think in the allocation schedule, you should get some of the answers you're looking for.
But I'm still trying to understand the process here. There must be written records of decisions of this nature. Where will we find them?
Hence I'm saying on the allocation schedule, it should give a direction. Rather than that, I doubt you'll have any other information. But I can check the emails. I will ask the city, or they can assist you, because I think they do have access to my emails, to check if there would be any discussions of that nature.
Who produced the allocation schedules?
It's the divisions, talent, HR strategic and talent division. There's two ladies. There's a gentleman and the lady. There's Zama, and the gentleman, I think is called Ngozi, I forgot his name. They will be the ones that will bring the schedules.
Well, Mr. Shaskalson is asking for proof of you having queried the allocations, and you referred to the allocation schedules, which you say were produced by other people, not by you.
Yes.
So he wants to understand how you referred to that if it was not your document.
As I say, Chair, I would normally make comments. I'm hoping that those comments can be found. And another way, it will be seeing the pattern. There should have been a change from beginning of when we started allocating and how the tender started going. You know, I can't recall all the events now, but sometimes, for instance, I wouldn't sign a document. I'll just return it and say I'm not happy. So that's why it becomes difficult to get all the evidence. But I'm sure the lady is very helpful. Uzama can be able to assist.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Just to clarify, I had understood your evidence earlier to be that when purchase orders were brought to you, you refused to sign them. So you are surprised that subsequent to that, there were payments made to this company. Did I understand that part correctly?
I said, Chair, I was shocked that there was a continuity up to towards the end of 2025. And I said, I take full accountability. That's what I said to the legal team. I should have picked it up. So, you know, so I'm taking full accountability. But surely, I know for sure that I was not happy with their work.
But what did you say something about purchase orders and the fact that you had to sign them and you refused to sign them?
No, I said, Chair, I made a note and maybe an instruction that says, let's stop utilizing this company because of the challenges they brought to me.
And
however,
sorry to interrupt you, where would we find that, where you made a note that we should not use this company anymore?
I said we might not have that. The only thing that can assist is the schedule, because sometimes I do make comments. I'm hoping that we can able to find that. Number two, you will see in the schedule that I don't think it's the worst company, it's the best company we paid, the highest. It's probably the lowest of the lowest. That you'll able to see that panel can guarantee you. So to me, what lacked in this evidence was that schedule. Or looking at all other companies, instead of focusing on this one, it will tell you how their funding was allocated. If that can be found, it will really assist this commission. Thank you.
Mr. Council.
Mr. Gxasheka, just to understand about the purchase orders, were you responsible or were you in the chain of signing purchase orders?
I would have been a chain. As I say that it's the work will start at that division and then ultimately come to me. Even that evidence will be important because I would like to know, was I signing everything? If I did not, maybe might find out I didn't even sign the last ones, you know. So I would really like us to find that information.
Would any payments be approved if they did not have if the purchase order, there was no purchase order with your signature on it?
It might be if the signing document, the purchase order doesn't need my signature. But if it needs my signature, it can't be paid. So hence I'm saying I'm not 100% sure if I was signing after I said they must stop or I did not. I would like to see those documents for me to comment.
Yeah, I'm not asking a question about before or after. I'm trying to understand how the system works. This is a service for your department. You're the HOD. You said something about purchase orders and you signing, and I'm trying to clarify that evidence that in the normal course, do you as HOD, if things are done regularly and properly, do you as HOD sign purchase orders?
Yes.
Okay. And would they be paid in the normal course? If in the normal course you sign purchase orders, would they be paid without your signature?
In fact, the payment, it doesn't happen after purchase order, Chairperson, through you, Chair. It happens after the invoice has been signed off by the department and my team and say that the work has been done.
Yes. Then,
under normal circumstances, I must sign that invoice before finance pays.
Yes.
Yes.
So unless there was any irregularity, as in removing your name as one of the signatories or someone forging your signature or representing that they are you, payment would not be made unless you have also signed off.
Yes, it should be like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I propose to move to a different topic at this stage unless there are further questions from the Commission on the issue of this tender.
Just ask, I'm not sure how that I understood. No, I know I didn't understand what your answer is if you gave it. Mr. Chaskalson asked you about your role and involvement with this procurement process. And somewhere in your answer, you said, I would have made a presentation to the bid specification committee. Correct me, you will correct me if I misheard you, or you were just speaking generally, that's one. Keep note that. And then the second one was you were explaining who sits in the BAC, the Bid Adjudication Committee. You said the CFO, and then you said HOD. According to my note, you said CFO, HOD, and other HODs. Can you just explain that? So clarify first whether I heard you properly to say you would have made a presentation, and then the second is who in fact are the other HODs. When you say HODs, how do they get selected?
Thank you, Chair. I said at the beginning, Chair, my role on the bid specification process, I commented on a document that is crafted by Makosi. And I said they've been doing these kind of documents for years now. My only concern was that it doesn't have formal qualifications like a degree or honors and postgrad. If I'm not mistaken, let me correct myself, they might have a few diplomas and certificates, but a degree, and majority of our adverts and they want a degree. That was my comment. Going to the bid specification committee, I need to be understood. There's about 20-something HODs. So the city manager will appoint committees, bid specification committee, bid evaluation committee, and bid education committee. And those committees comprises of HODs and divisional heads. Then on the BAC committee, it will comprise of, you correct, I did say, I think the chairperson is the group CFO, and then he will sit with other HODs from the city. And my understanding, once a document, a tender has been adjudicated, it then goes to the city manager for the final signature. But the adjudicating committee would have made a recommendation. So that is my understanding of how these processes go.
I think what I wanted to understand is the other HODs. When you say HODs, who sits there? Does the client department, such as you, for example, in this contract that we are talking about, or in this bid we are talking about, so you are the client, you are procuring the service. Do you get as HOD to sit in the BAC?
No.
Is there a rule that says you don't sit, or it just happens that way, that you were not selected to come and sit on this one?
I was not part of any of these committees. The city manager used her discretion to appoint these 3 committees, and I don't serve in any of the 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a small matter of clarity. When you commented about the sort of qualifications that you thought should have been specified, or rather, which Ms. Baloyi did not have, according to you, in what capacity did you comment?
I commented as endorsing the bid specification document from the division, my division, one of the divisions I'm responsible for, when they come with the criteria. So I've said, you always using these similar qualifications. I'm aspiring that we move beyond just having diplomas or unit standards. Can we include degrees and others? That's all my comment was.
At what stage of the process was this?
It would have been before they go to bid specification.
So during once bids were in, you never participated at any stage?
As I said, I don't know if it's a rule, but my observation for all years I've been in the city, if it's your department that is tendering, I haven't seen an HOD who go and present an item in any of those 3 structures.